everybody. Welcome to episode number 96 of the Debt Free Dad podcast. So you're looking to make some extra cash to help you build your emergency fund, maybe pay down some debt, heck, maybe even pay cash for an upcoming purchase. And you're wondering if direct sales is a good option as maybe a legitimate side hustle. Today, we're going to talk about it on today's show. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Debt Free Dad podcast, where we're helping normal, everyday people learn how to save money and kick debt so they can live a happier and stress-free life. Now here's your host, Debt Free Dad, Brad Nelson.
Hey, how is everyone doing today? You can find me on Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, and Instagram. Just search Brad Nelson, Debt Free Dad. And welcome to today's show. So today we're talking about some ways to create maybe some extra income for yourself. And I'm all about creating income-producing activities in your life. Like if you want to get out of debt, if you want to save more money, if you want to improve cash flow in your life, like there's two ways you can do it. You can cut expenses, or you can go out and make more money. In a lot of cases, you can do both, all right? But making more money is a legitimate way to increase the speed of whatever it is that you're trying to reach, whatever goal it is that you're trying to reach. And one of those ways that people tend to turn to and look at is this option of, direct sales. And if you haven't heard of what direct sales is or what, direct sales, this business model is, I want to just kind of briefly just hit on, okay, what is direct sales and what does it mean if you've never really heard that term or are not familiar with it? But direct selling, according to the Direct Selling Association or DSA.org, is a retail channel used by top global brands and smaller entrepreneurial companies to market products and services to consumers. Companies market all types of goods and services, including jewelry, cookware, nutritionals, cosmetics, housewares, energy, and insurance, and a whole heck of a lot more. There are tons of direct sales companies out there. 89% of direct sellers decide to work part-time, offering busy parents, caregivers, military spouses, veterans, and other flexibility and work-life balance. As advancements in technology create a new American economy whose foundation is built upon entrepreneurial spirit and independent work, it's important to remember that direct selling is one of the oldest ways millions of Americans have chosen to work independently, according to the DSA. Long before the advent of the internet, they say. Direct selling has a long history of both substantially contributing to the economy and also supporting the millions of Americans that are involved. And just some quick stats from the DSA, they say that 77% of Americans, guys, are interested in flexible, entrepreneurial, and by the way, I have a hard time saying that word, entrepreneurial income earning opportunities. And those percentages are even higher among the younger generations, Gen Zers and also millennials. Now, we've got an amazing kind of viewpoint here with us because Amber and also my wife is a full-time direct sales consultant. And actually, Amber and Sarah both work for the same company. We're not going to talk about who they are or what they sell or anything like that. But they have a ton. My family has a ton of experience doing this. And Amber, you personally have a ton of experience. How long have you been doing direct sales?
13 years this month.
13? Wow, that is awesome. Congratulations to you. How many people told you that it would never work?
Almost everybody. Like I had bosses tell me it's never going to work. I had family tell me it's never going to work. You're really going to quit your full-time job? I heard it all.
Yeah. And so now, and you do this completely full-time?
This is, completely full-time.
Now, did you start doing it full-time or did you start part-time?
No, I was totally part-time. I was like, I'm just going to do this kind of on the side. I don't think it's going to work. This is kind of weird. But I did some research and I tried it and I started to see the potential. And then I went to a conference and I saw more potential. And then it was about 4 years later that I was able to go full-time.
Okay. So you were part-time for 4 years. And so in that 4-year period, because again, according to these statistics, and I know because I also coach a lot of direct sales consultants, so I know that the majority of consultants are part-time. But when you were doing it part-time, were you making some pretty decent extra money doing that?
Well, I paid for my wedding in my first year in business, so I would say I was doing decent. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
I was bringing in a decent amount every month.
Right, and that's kind of the point I was bringing when we did the introduction to the show. It's not just necessarily, paying for your emergency fund or, building your emergency fund, paying down debt. I mean, you can definitely get into direct sales for specific things. Like some people get into it just to say, hey, I want to take my family on a yearly vacation every year. Like that's their goal. It's not like to bring in and put extra money in their checking account. Ultimately, that's what they're doing to pay for the vacation. But their goal is like, hey, I want to take an extra vacation every year and take my family and pay cash for that. So what are some of your kind of feelings and thoughts on this? Because again, I know direct sales gets a little bit of a bad name, but let's talk a little bit about what was appealing to it for you? I mean, there's things like flexible hours. You can earn as much as you want. Like, what were some things that were appealing to you and have appealed to you now over the years, and why you do this now full time?
Okay. Full disclosure, was the money. No, but it was. At first, I was like, we were living paycheck to paycheck, and then we got paid on Friday, and by Monday our bills were paid. We were doing okay, but we had no money left. So if our car broke down, we were in trouble. And I put it on a credit card. I was not going for debt freedom then. And I probably put it on, like, I maxed out my credit card to start. And that, not telling everybody to do that. Don't listen to what I did in the past. But, and I did it for the money, and that's mainly what I got in it for. But I made like incredible friends from all over the world. And, just, even the recognition when I started doing this.
Hit on that a little bit, because that is a big thing in direct sales. Like the titles, the awards, the incentives that they give. Like
it's huge. But because my husband working at a job for 10 years and he's gotten no recognition, no thanks for all of your hard work, your hard service, nothing.
Yeah.
So for the like, I am like, getting prizes every year and different things and trips. And I was like, dang, I even just get a phone call and like, wow, you're doing a good job. Like, that feels amazing. And that recognition is what really drove me from the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say that if I'd be willing to bet, that's probably one of the things that motivated Sarah, especially early on, and probably still today. I think it probably doesn't play as big of a role because her goals have changed a little bit. But
mine too.
when she first got started, though, like getting, hitting those bonuses, getting the extra, increasing the title and getting a new title and hitting those levels, like that felt good. And honestly, if you look at statistics and people working for a regular full-time job, one of the reasons why they're dissatisfied is because they don't feel like they're appreciated or recognized. Mm-hmm. So when you get in direct sales, especially if you get with a good company, like there's a lot of consultants who appreciate that and they love it and they like it. And that plays a big role and sometimes in getting people motivated to be like, hey, I really like doing this. This is really enjoyable. Talk a little bit about the flexible hours and earning as much as you like, because this is kind of like a big thing, because I mean, you do ultimately get to choose. Now we're going to talk a little bit about all of this. Like, this isn't like just lay in bed and make money type stuff. Like, this is
oh God, no.
This is work, right? This is some hard work that you guys got to put in for this. So talk a little bit about though how that's been nice for you guys, is flexible hours and being able to decide, like, based on our financial goals, I'm going to make this.
Honestly, like, the flexible hours and the choices have been fabulous, but it's not all roses, and it takes a lot of hard work. And a lot of people see it as, oh my God, you're so successful, I want to do this and be the same. And if they want to join my team, let's say, and they want to do what I do, then I have to check them and be like, this has taken me 13 years.
Yeah.
Like, and after 4 years, it was about 3 years I quit my job, and then I went and got another full-time temporary job because I was like, needed that crutch. But because it's unknown, I can make as much as I want per se, but if I'm not hustling and working and really hard, then I'm not going to. Or if, we had a strike in our area with our big, huge company, our mining company, that just plummeted my sales, because now everybody's kind of keeping it low key on buying product. So you've got to go with that. It's not always going to be super awesome and high in sales. And sometimes it's going to be really shitty and you want to quit.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, you have to, let's just be straight and honest. It is a legitimate business. It's not a hobby. Like, you have to run it as a business if you want to be successful at it. And that is the key. And I think when we talk about some of these points that we're going to bring up here during this episode today, is just keep that in mind. Like, whether you do it part-time or full-time, like, you do have to run it as a business or you will be out of business very, very quickly. There's no question. But one of the number of questions I think that that Sarah gets, and you can say if you get it, but you really make money at that? Like, you can really make money at doing direct sales? Because a lot of people's initial feeling is that when they hear direct sales, and I used to too, I will openly admit it. In fact, when Sarah first started doing this, I was like, she spent, you went into debt to go into yours. She spent the last bit of her emergency fund savings to buy her kit to get in direct sales. And I was like, that was the stupidest thing you could have done. I was not supportive. I'll be honest, I was pissed. That's what I was. I was not happy about it. Now, Sarah definitely proved me wrong. I eat crow for it all the time, right? She's blown it out of the water, and I was completely wrong. But one of the first things I thought of when she was going to do direct sales is that that's just a pyramid scheme. That's a pyramid scheme. So
I thought the same thing.
So talk about that. Like, what is a pyramid scheme, and like what's the difference between a pyramid scheme and like what a real direct sales company is?
So here's the thing, because I did my research, because I was like, I don't know. I was telling my husband, well, we weren't married at the time, but I was like, this is a pyramid scheme. I can't do this. This is crazy. It's good. And I did my research, and a pyramid scheme is basically a company that just signs people, just recruits people. There's no product to sell.
Right.
So that's basically what that is. You could do this business, or like any direct sales business, and sell product and make money. You don't have to build a team.
Correct.
But every company is a pyramid. It doesn't matter what company you're in. There's always going to be an owner, a CEO, a boss, a manager. It's all a pyramid. It's all the same thing.
Right.
It's just not a scheme.
Right. So the key point, though, is that for a legitimate direct sales business, what you want to look for is obviously, and we're going to talk about finding the right company, but that you can actually legitimately make money off just selling product. Mm-hmm. Not like, if you don't want to build a team or recruit people, you don't necessarily have to do that. You can just sell product and make money, or make a line or a stream of revenue just selling the actual products that you purchase from them and offer to your clients and customers.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So as far as like, can you make money at it? And I will attest to this too, along with Amber, is that, Sarah's been doing this full time now, I think for 7+ years, and she's made a full-time income. In fact, there was some time there that she was out earning me, and now she's pretty much matching me, and we're kind of the same right now. But there was a time where Sarah was the ultimate breadwinner. I was like, you keep going, right? I have no complaints. Yeah. I was like, I have no complaints about this at all. But let's talk a little bit about, like, is direct sales right for you? And again, we're not going to get into specific companies here or anything, but there are some things that I think you should go through to decide, like, if you're using this as a legitimate way to make money to help you improve your finances, the first thing you need to kind of do is evaluate your strengths. Like, is direct selling the right decision for you? Because at the end of the day, it's selling. It is a sales position, and it is also starting and owning your own business. And that is one thing I should bring up as a good point too, is that one of the reasons why a lot of people opt for direct sales is because you are starting your own business, but you also don't have to have like all the creative and designing all the graphics and the logos, and like the direct sales company gives you a ton of marketing assets and information and training to help you kind of speed up the process of starting your business. But again, at the end of the day, it is a legitimate business. So you got to go into it knowing, like, this thing ain't just going to start making money on its own. Like, you really have got to work on it.
And so from my perspective, so my wife did direct sales years ago, and found out that sales wasn't a match for what she wanted. She got into it, and you can make money, and you can make a lot of money. But if you don't like selling, and you don't like dealing with like strangers and going in, talking to just random people, that's where it gets to be very challenging. And it's also challenging in the sense that, it's a position, it's a job where you can make money, but you can also make nothing, or not make a lot of money. You could do a lot of work and so I think sales, and my son is in sales as well, it's a roller coaster ride, and you gotta really be okay with potentially having those weeks or maybe months where it's just not fun and it's hard and you're not making a lot of money, and then enjoy it when you're on top of the mountain again, because that's just sales in general. It doesn't matter if it's direct sales or sales. I mean, any salesperson will tell you it is roller coaster, and you got to be okay with that.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the work is on you when you're in direct sales. Like, you don't have a brick and mortar where you're standing in a store waiting for people to come over because they know this store is awesome for their furniture or whatever it is. You're seeking out people.
Right.
It's like you're starting out and you're cold calling basically. Like it's hard.
Correct. Yeah, you got it.
You will run out of friends and family real fast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you have to be on the proactive side. There's no question about it. Now, I mean, social media and technology has made it easier, text messaging. There's a lot of cool things that you can start getting into where, Amber, you bring up cold calling. Yeah, I mean, there is that, but there's a lot of other things too you can do now because of social media and technology. But make no mistake about it. Like, you have to get outside your comfort zone and that circle of friends and family if you ultimately want to be, successful at having this be a sustainable way of making extra income, because it does take time to put together. The other thing too, was speaking of time, is that you really need to evaluate your time as well. It is a business. So think about that. Like if you're considering a company, joining a direct sales company, think about how much time can you commit to actually running this business? You really want to consider that. Now, again, long-term wise, could you back off on a little bit of time over time as things kind of get going and up and running? Sure. But when you first get started, there is going to be a significant amount of time invested. Not only are you going to spend time trying to actually sell the products, but you're also going to spend time a lot up front. Amber, you could talk about this, but learning about them too. I mean, a lot of these companies have so many different products and different things to offer. You're learning how to offer them, how to sell them, what's going to give your customer, the best product for their needs. Like, there's a lot of training that goes involved with these. Can you talk about that?
Well, there's a lot of training right at the get-go because you're now learning about this brand new product, but the training never stops. There's always training. So you got to commit that time to do that. And you have to have patience, and it takes time to build. And after 6 months, if you're like, even 3 months, I've seen people go, this doesn't work for me. And that's fine if that's what you decide, but go into it knowing that it's going to take some time and commitment. And also, if you're doing, direct sales and it's like a kind of a party system where you're going into people's houses and getting girls together or just people together, it's a lot of time, nights and weekends.
Yep.
So you got to be okay with that.
Correct. Yeah. And the other thing too is like, if you're looking at this and you're a couple, make sure you're talking to your spouse or partner, because if you got kids at home, and I will attest to this, like it is a sacrifice. It is a commitment for Sarah to run this business with kids at home. Like, for instance, like it's Tuesday night when we're recording this, but I'm going into the next 4 days of Sarah being gone every single night. She'll be gone every night, going out and doing parties. Now, I'm fine with it because this is what Sarah's chosen to do. She loves it. But I also have to be on board with it because when Sarah leaves at 5 o'clock, I am like 100% full-time parent. Like, there is no Sarah at home. So I got to make sure all my work's done. I'm taking care of the kids. All their homework's done. They're getting to bed. Like, there is no co-parenting anymore at night on some of those nights. So there has to be some sort of an agreement and understanding between the partners as well. The one thing, Amber, you mentioned is about training, and I want to kind of get into talking about evaluating the company. What would be some things that because you mentioned you did research and you looked into some things. Obviously, you've been in the industry for a long time. If you're looking at evaluating a company, like what things are important as a direct sales consultant that the company should be offering in order to help you become more successful, do you think?
I mean, a lot of times it's really hard to get this information until you join. Unfortunately, it really is. So you've got to really talk to people and just look at, what's the product for one? Do you love it? Are you already using it? Like, that's a huge thing. If you're not using it, you don't know if you really love it. It may not be the right choice for you.
Right.
You got to find something that you absolutely love and do your research. Like, has the company been around for a while? Talk to people who are within the company, not just the person that might be trying to sign you up. Because unfortunately, not everybody is. What's the word I'm looking for? How do I put this right?
Amber doesn't want to throw anybody under the bus. But no, I think you're right about the using the product. Are you passionate about the product? Because I will speak to this. I have never worked in direct sales, but I've been in sales for a long time. Before I started this business, I was in the sign industry. I worked in sales in the sign industry for many years. And I was good at that. I was a good salesperson in the sign industry. I was very successful at it. I started this business, and it was like a completely different game because for me, I am passionate about helping people improve their finances. But at the end of the day, we are selling a product, Roots of Personal Finance. We have our planner. We're selling coaching. Like we're offering and selling a product here. But a lot of people have said, Brad, man, when I hear you on your podcast and I hear you on your workshops and I hear you talking like, dude, you are passionate about this. That is the difference between just selling something to sell something and selling something that you truly believe in is going to help you change your customer's life. So when you're looking at these companies, it's important that you make a connection, not only to the product itself, but what the company represents as well. Because you do represent that company, right? I mean, you are going to go out there and you're going to sell these products. So you want to make sure like, hey, I believe in this. And you're not just selling just to sell, because your customers are going to read right through that. They're going to see it. And they're not going to necessarily trust you that you're really selling this because it's best for them and it's just making you money. The other thing, especially when it comes to just that is making money, is understand how you get paid. This is super important when you're evaluating a direct sales company to join, because all of them have different compensation plans, the percentage of profits that you get, how you get paid, whether you carry inventory. Like there's so many different things that are happening with some of these companies. You want to make sure you go through and do your homework. Like, can you get paid on your personal sales? How do you get paid like on your downline sales? Like for instance, we talked about recruiting. If you're someone who loves to go out and promote your product and you want to recruit more people to your team, what compensation do you get for that? Like if you bring on more people to your team, what does that look like? What incentives and bonuses are out there? Like if you hit certain thresholds, sales thresholds, Amber, maybe we haven't talked about, but like trips, awards, things like that. Like if you're hitting some of those thresholds, there's definitely more earning potential with some of those things as well. But priority number one, after coaching a lot of direct sales consultants, the number one thing I tell them is that your bank account should be your number one priority. Because you got into this business, most people, not everybody, but most people get into the business to make money, to make extra money. So you got to make sure your bank account is the number one priority going into this, all right? The other thing, too, is, Amber, you mentioned friends and family. So you talk about this because you not only have done this, but you've also brought people onto your team. They've probably experienced this, but one of the things I hear in direct sales is, you just sell it to your friends and family. Like, can you talk a little bit about that?
Friends and family suck. No, but they're good. It's a great place to start. And then you meet someone, maybe they're acquaintances and different, and that's how you kind of build out your business. And it's a really great place to start. But in the end, in my experience, they want your discount. They're like, come on, give it to me at a deal. Like, I still got to make money doing this.
Yeah. Friends and family are the ones who take advantage. They are the ones who take advantage. There's no question about it. Right. I mean, I'll get friends and family from a financial side. They'll be like, hey, Brad, I just have a quick question for you. And I'm thinking to myself, it's taken me 10 years to probably learn how to answer your question, but yet you're expecting me to give it to you for free. If you think about that. But for real, like your friends and family will eventually run out. As Amber said, it's a great place to start. But this is an area where I see consultants really kind of fall off, is that because when the friends and family end and there's no longer any of those people like supporting you on an ongoing basis, that's when you're going to be challenged to get outside your comfort zone. And a lot of people fail to launch, and they sit and they sit and they sit and they wait and they wait and they wait, and nothing ever happens. They're not out doing their parties. They're not out doing their selling. And you got to go into this knowing that there is going to come a point where you do need to launch and get outside your comfort zone. And this is no different than, say, me starting this business. Like, I had to get outside my comfort zone. I had to stop talking to people like Ryan and my friends and family about this stuff. And I had to get out and get in front of people I didn't know and put myself out there and say, hey, look, this is how I can help you. This is what we're doing. And that is a really scary place to be. But I got to tell you, it's also one of the most rewarding places to be when you actually start helping those people and serving those people too. But you got to be willing to go to that level. You really do. The last area is when you're considering a direct sales business, is commit to running it like a business. All right. It is not a hobby. Hobbies cost money. Businesses make money. All right. So the one thing that probably drives me the most crazy about direct sales or network marketing is this whole campaign of make money while sitting on the beach and sipping a cocktail, right? It's like,
oh, come on. I made money while on a plane the other day. No.
But it's taking you 13 years to get there.
It has.
It didn't start like that day one, right? So I think, trying to get people like, that could be the reality one day. Right, but the real reality is...
That's not where all the income comes from, just so you know. It doesn't come while you're on the beach.
Right. It doesn't. Full transparency, when my wife was doing this before we had our daughter, she was putting in 60, 70, sometimes 80 hours a week into doing this full time. But that's what she put all of her energy into. Now she doesn't have to do that anymore because she is where she is, and she doesn't have to put in 60, 70, 80 hours a week anymore, but she's still running it as a full-time job. It's not 2 hours and 3 hours a week. It definitely takes time. So you want to make sure you run it like a business and you have the attitude like you're going to run it like a business. And again, making sure you're taking care of the bank account. You know how to make the money. They're going to have someone train you how to make sure you're making money, where the profit is, how to make sure you're running the finances as a business, because this is, again, where I see a lot of people failing, is that they don't run it like a business and they ended up running and going out of business. So make sure you take the time to learn some of that stuff. And if you don't know how to do it, obviously the direct sales place that you're looking at signing up with, either ask the person you're signing under or look for training to get that information, but you need to make sure you learn how to do it because, again, it is a legitimate business. So, Amber, what would you say? Direct sales, yay or nay? Is it a good option?
It was good for me, but it's not good for everybody. I see it all the time. So you got to do your research and really decide, is this something that I really want to do?
Yeah.
And if it's not, don't go put your money into something that you're just going to make a hobby or go into debt for.
Yeah,
it's not worth it.
I think one of the things that probably aggravates me the most about direct sales is when people say, well, that didn't work. It does work. You're probably just not working. It's the same thing like in Roots, because we have a small percentage of Roots members that'll come into Roots and they'll come in, they'll sign up, they're super motivated, but then they fail to launch and actually start going through the content, showing up to the live meetups. And sometimes they'll say, well, this just didn't work for me. And then we go in and look at their account and they've done none of the work. Well, it's like, well, wait a minute. How does this work so well for all these other people, but it doesn't work well for you? And in a lot of cases, it's just because you're not doing the work. And it's the same thing when it comes to direct sales. Like, it does work, but you have to go into it with the knowledge of how it works and being willing to commit to do the work to do it. But it could be a great way to make some extra money in your life. There's no question.
Hey, if you love planners, this is for you. But you know why planners frustrate me? Because they only really get it half right. Now, sure, they're really good and fancy about helping you manage your time, which is really important, obviously. That's what a planner's for. But where they get it wrong is money, the second most valuable resource in our lives. Most planners don't include any financial planning. Things like, keeping track of paydays, bills, due dates, spending, yearly expenses, budgets, cash flow planning, debt elimination plans, and goal planning, right? None of that stuff. That's a real pain. And then what? Then you got to create your own in some silly binder, right? And who has time for all of that stuff? So instead, what happens? Nothing, right? A lot of people tend to ignore their finances even more, and things only get worse. Well, that all ends today because I am so excited to announce and release my brand new, totally awesome Debt Freedom Planner. This thing's awesome, by the way. Now, before you say, Brad, I've already got a planner. This is not an ordinary day planner. This is the Debt Freedom Planner, which is a companion tool that works with your day planner, and it's built to help you manage your money, pay off more debt, and melt away financial stress. And I believe this is the tool that a lot of people who want to take control of their finances have been waiting for. So head on over to therealdebtfreedad.com, click on the Debt Freedom Planner in the menu to get access to your planner today.
Hey, what's this I see? I thought this was a party! Let's dance!
All right. That sound means it's time for the celebrations of the show today. And today we're kicking it off with Tammy Garcia. Tammy says, last weekend I spent time working on my budget and debt snowball worksheet. I found a couple subscriptions that were unnecessary and decided to drop them. That's awesome. Putting into perspective our plan to work to become debt-free is joyful. I love that. She says, I also decided that I will be starting my own virtual business, which will hopefully bring in more money to get those debts paid off faster. Many positive decisions this week in the right direction on our way to retirement bliss. Tammy, those are some fantastic wins. Congratulations to you.
Lindsay Bolus worked the bar for an event, made over $450 in tips for 2 nights, deciding on if it goes to a credit card or rainy day fund. Made a few sales in my direct sales business for some extra money. Chose not to eat out 2 times this week. Looked at a few items at Walmart and said, nope. Don't need it, and walked away.
That's awesome. Great wins, Lizzie. Listen, look at all those income-producing activities.
Right?
$450 at the bar, direct sales business, like getting after it. That is awesome. Great job.
Tammy Jonke. I didn't use any credit cards this week. Slowly building my emergency fund back up after my husband's hospitalization. Still no overdraft or unnecessary fees for my bank account in about a year now.
That is a huge win in a year. No overdraft fees. That is such a big win. Congratulations to you guys. Great job. Gina Bailu, September under budget by $371. That is amazing. Congratulations, Gina.
Cindy Berman, no credit card use, several no spend days, got new insurance, saved a ton of money. Nice.
That is awesome. Great win, Cindy.
Lisa Schoolman, budget done, put $200 in the emergency fund and purchased the 2022 planner. I had put it in the budget for this month. Woohoo!
That is awesome. Huge win. And yes, that is correct. The 2022 Totally Awesome Debt Freedom Planner is available. You can head over to therealdebtfreedad.com and pick that up. This is the first time we've ever had a planner that is going to be completely customized and dated for the upcoming year of 2022. So if you want to order one of those, again, head over to therealdebtfreedad.com, click on the Totally Awesome Debt Freedom Planner, and you can get that pre-ordered right now, and we're going to start shipping those out coming up in mid-November. So,
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us here today. We love your feedback, and it also helps us grow our YouTube show. So please give us a like or leave us some honest feedback on this video. And if you want the latest from the show, obviously be sure to hit that notification bell and subscribe to our channel. And for the latest resources, or if you want more information on how to kick debt and financial stress, please be sure to check out the links in this video or head over to therealdebtfreedad.com. We'll see you guys on an upcoming show. Take care.